You are powerful. You are enough. You are in control. You can achieve anything you want. And success looks different for everybody. Whatever brings you joy, that's success. It's a really dark moment in my life. I felt stuck and I wanted to really shift and pivot. To my professors just saw me and they connected me. They mentored me. They shared their network with me. I was able to reach out to those that are further than me. And at the same time, now I'm super passionate about sharing that with others so that they can see that they can do it, right? And help them progress within their life and their goals.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is going to be a great episode and we are going to dive into it here. This is Diane Acevedo. She is a senior VP with Gab Mobile. She also works in CX. She is rocking the world right now. And I am so excited to talk with her, especially about the 40 under 40, which she is the co-founder and lead on. Guys, today is going to be a great episode. Diane, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Mikey. I'm excited to be here.
I am so excited to have you guys. She brings a huge perspective and is going to teach us a lot today. So Dan, I want to give you just a second. Could you tell us just what's your name, what's your brand, what's your mission in life? Who are you?
Yeah, so Diane Acevedo. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, born and raised there. I've been in Utah for over 22 years. But I am, like Mikey mentioned, the Senior Vice President of Operations and CX here at Gab Wireless, and a co-founder of Utah's 40 over 40, which is all super exciting. I'm a single mom of 4, and I'm super passionate about relationships and a champion for the underrepresented community in here in Utah and overall anyone. I feel like we can become advocates for one another and cheerleaders and just share our experiences and life journeys, because I personally learn from others and it helps me process and change the way I'm doing things. So I hope I can share something that resonates with someone.
I'm so excited. Guys, if you just heard that, I mean, you already know this episode is going to be amazing, because what we talk about on here is recovery and also gaining momentum towards your goals. And I think that finding a support community and also just supporting each other in our goals, it gets you so much momentum in so many good causes. And we're going to hear all about it today. So Diane, I want to ask you, I mean, you are an extremely accomplished lady and you're in the workforce and you're helping other women get back into the workforce. What brought you into that? What made you want to take responsibility and make that part of your mission?
Oh, great question. When I was doing my MBA, this is a few years ago, I graduated in 2018 with my master's in business administration. It was a really pivotal moment in my career. I was working at a law firm, doing well, but a newly divorced and single mom of 4. And I knew that I had to grow within my career in order to provide a good life for my kids, right? And have stability. And in that process, it was a really dark moment in my life, obviously dealing with everything emotionally, but being able to work 65 hours a week, go to school for my MBA and parent, I felt stuck. I felt like I was just crawling my way out of this, and I needed a light at the end of the tunnel, right? I knew through trials of life that I had to work hard and put in the work, and I have never been afraid of hard work. And so I was in the trenches and just grinding my way through that. But as I reached out to my professors and just really learning from them, I was really trying to apply everything that I was learning to my current place of employment and within that role. And I wanted to really shift and pivot at a faster pace. And that happened when two of my favorite people on this earth, two of my professors, just saw me and really, really saw me And what I mean by that is they understood who I was, where I wanted to be, and they connected me. They mentored me. They shared their network with me. I was able to, as I was applying what I was learning in school, during my current role, I would, brainstorm with them and share ideas, and they would give me feedback. And it just created this almost like a community just with us three and those people that they connected me with that uplifted me and gave me just that hope that I could do it, that there was more, bigger and better things, and that I was able to accomplish those things no matter my circumstances. As a female Latina, it's really hard to progress in the workplace. Just the minorities as a whole, and not being a first generation student, and then first, not only in an undergrad, but in a master's program, I had never seen my immediate family members do that. Extended family members did, but I came from very, limited resources and poor circumstances. So here I am trying to accomplish something that I have very lofty goals because I want to break the cycle, but
Right.
I don't necessarily know how to do it. And here I had people that were lifting me. And that's exactly why I'm passionate about that. People saw in me. I was able to reach out to those that are further than me. And at the same time, now I'm super passionate about sharing that with others so that they can see that they can do it, right? And help them progress within their life and their goals. So
I love it. I love it. That's the thing. I think so many people pick up on their mission because it's something that they had to go through. And so they have a really passionate connection to it, and they want to see other people experience that because how good it is.
yeah, there's nothing like being a champion of people.
Wow.
Champion of relationships. And I have been blessed by incredible men and females that have mentored me and lifted me. So I want to be that for others.
I love that so much. You remind me so much of my friend Kiana Sarmiento. She was in, I think, my second episode, and she is so big about how she wants to make sure that, especially because her family came from South America and they came up here and they were immigrants, and kind of like you, they wanted to break cycles and they wanted to create opportunities. And now Kiana is doing so much, especially at UVU, helping with the marketing department, all this other stuff. She's so young, so driven, so fiery Latina that she's like, I want to make sure that South America and all of these Latin countries don't get left behind or don't get the opportunities that people are getting here. Because people are always trying to get to America to get the opportunities, but why can't we take the opportunities elsewhere too?
That's
so
right.
She's trying to take all this tech down there with her organization. And it's just, she wants to help Latinas and she wants to help immigrants and people who want opportunities and to break cycles. And you guys are just so fire, and we need to get more people behind you. So I want to ask you, just so that the listeners who are listening, because I know there's people who are going to hear this and they're going to go, wow, I want to get involved. How can we help create momentum as a society towards helping immigrants and other people break cycles and create momentum towards new lives?
Oh, that is such an amazing question. Thank you for asking that. I think that we need to be aware. Being aware of your surroundings, being aware of your people. We need decision makers to be just really active in the community and aware within their organizations. The change comes within, right? Not only ourselves, the desire to do that, but within your own organization, right? And supporting those that are trying to create that movement. You have to be that. You can't almost like impose that on people. You have to have the desire, or you do or you don't, right? And that really comes with the drive. What are you trying to cultivate within your own life and your organization? But for me is we need, everyone who's a decision maker, that's males, females, all kinds of races, to lift together. We have to link arms, because if we don't, then it's not going to change. This is not one versus the other. This is collectively together as a community. That is powerful. That is what unifies us and lifts us. And I think that, one, get educated, reach out to organizations. There are so many organizations doing phenomenal things. And how can you integrate yourself and partner up to, perhaps you don't have all the time or resources, but there is something that you can do to do that. And specifically, I want to highlight Utah's 40 over 40. We really want to recognize our mission is to empower and highlight women over 40, because statistics show that, the average female entrepreneur, the age is 42. The average age for a female CEO, the age is 48. And women are just starting to thrive past the age of 40 because our lives are a little bit different. We are moms, right? Most females, or, we've taken a step back in our careers to be, fill that role, and re-entering the workforce is different.
Right.
It's at a different age, right? We have that. And so promoting females within your organizations, helping them network and develop themselves, as well as, helping them integrate, hire them, teach them.
Right.
They bring a different perspective, a different strength than others do. And so don't be afraid of that. I know that there's this stigma, like perhaps they're not as techie or they're not XYZ. They bring value, and I would put them against anyone.
Totally. And I've seen it every day. There's girls that I've worked with that you put 10 guys up against them, they win. I mean, they put out more value. I have so many people that I try and add into my life. My friend Dan Osler, he was on another episode. He only works with partners where he says, if 1 + 1 equals more than 3, then I'll work with them. Like if us together is more than that, like I swear, like you and Keanu, you're both in tech, which I think is so cool because it's very much headed towards the future, towards industries where you can touch a lot of lives. But also, there's so many other places that we need women in the workforce. And especially when they're re-entering later, they have such a great perspective and about so many things. Because if we're being honest, as a business guy, I look at products and you have to look at how it affects their life. Who knows better how life goes on and what people want in life than mothers who just raise their kids, who are actually living in it. They can bring such a great perspective to, especially like, customer experience, to user experience, to different products, to different, just visual even. They bring so many great perspectives. And frankly, a lot of the time they're more responsible. I work with a lot of women. I have a couple of employees we talked about in Florida. I've got a couple out there and they are the best. I just love working, especially with women employees, and we need more of them. And I think the minorities too. When we all get together, it is just such a strong, like you said, united. I think one of the biggest problems we have right now is division. And it's if we can really just come together and get all our perspectives in, we're going to be doing great. Can I ask you really quick? You were saying earlier, there's so many organizations and so many ways to get involved and learn. Are there any specific ones that you would highlight that if people hear this and they're like, yeah, you say that, but I still don't know where to go? Anywhere specific you would send them?
Yeah, you know what? The higher ed schools are really doing a phenomenal job. Utah Valley University has an amazing program for moms or single women re-entering. There's scholarships available for them. There is networking opportunities. University of Utah has a program as well, and they have a ton of other organizations within the community. They have resources, so I would lead towards them. Obviously, there are, women in tech. There's She Tech that's educating the younger generation so that they know that this is where they need to be. They need to be in product. They need to be in tech. They need to be in anywhere they want to be, right? This is the idea is that it's a representation of all industries and any skill set, right? And I think I love something that you mentioned earlier where it comes to just building and together. It's not necessarily, for me, it's a matter of what are you creating? What kind of value? And something that I have learned personally, I'm watching my mom. I was raised by a single mom who worked so hard in her sacrifices and her diligence and providing for us, and finding myself as a single mom, the first thing that we learn to do is serve.
Yeah.
As a mother, right? We are giving, or even as a parent, dads too, you give so much of yourself to that. And that is a skill set and a trait that really helps you scale. Because for me, when you serve your team members, your company, your community, you build that trust, which allows you to then hopefully have that relationship that inspires and brings value in all aspects of your life, right? And so building that within your organization or community to strengthen one another, I think that is the most powerful thing that allows you to scale within any relationship. That could be your role as a mother, as a spouse, as a friend, a community member, or in your workplace, right? And so I think that I'm a believer that nothing should be handed. I really prefer to, work 70 hours a week or 4 jobs than to ask for anything, not out of pride, but because my mom always taught me, don't depend on anybody. Right. Your success and your happiness depends on you. And that's where I really want to also clarify, because I'm an advocate for everyone, right? And I want to support and create value, but I also think that you need to put in the work. So how do you put in the work while still leaning on others? That's a really fine line, right? Because I never want to be someone that's a taker. I also want to replenish that for the other party. And so,
well, it's huge. I think a lot of people have a hard time asking for help or even accepting help when it's offered.
Yeah.
And I mean, or even just, I mean, some people just want to take, but I mean, for the most part, I think we have a hard time, I don't know, accepting that we don't know where we're at yet, and even asking for help or knowing where to look for help. And so,
yeah,
I think you're totally right. You want to work hard, but sometimes you got to lean on others.
It's a very fine line, but you need both, right?
How did you do it with your 2 mentors?
Oh, it was a really, it was a situation where I had to define where I was mentally. I knew I wanted to do that. I knew I've always had an entrepreneurship spirit, but I'm also very much, because I grew up so poor, I need stability, and I'm not a massive risk taker. And so I love to bootstrap and grind, but I need it with some type of, stability, which is hard to find. But so working for a startup has been phenomenal for me. But at that time in my life, I had to really analyze my mental state and decide if I was going to have the grit to be able to get out of that, right? Because going through a divorce is not easy. That's very, very hard. And adjusting to that and being a single mom of 4 little kids and working so much, it was a state where I had to really release myself from perhaps placing blame in the situation or judging others, and using that as a deflector and taking the opportunity to analyze where I was, taking accountability, and taking that opportunity to create bigger opportunities for myself, right? And so taking action where I'm self-aware and I am in a trajectory of self-growth, and I am going to understand that I am in full control of my reactions, my thoughts, my feelings, and my life, right? So that had to happen before I can actually reach out to my professors. And in that state, perhaps I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but it's just that recognizing, right? Recognizing where I was, where I wanted to be, and where were my goals, and how was I going to get there? I didn't know, right? And so I had to really redefine what success was. And what my life was at that stage of life. And so when I reached out to my professors, it was, we were doing these consulting projects for other businesses. It was part of the MBA program, and analyzing, doing a business analysis and consulting, it became my niche. And that's where I've been able to scale in my career since then, because they were able to influence me, right? So I would say, here's where they're at. This is where and I still practice this way. I still do business this way, right? Where I analyze where are they at, where is their goal? And I divide that by a macro and micro. And what I mean by that, obviously macro and goal, but what are you doing every quarter, every month, every week, every day in order to achieve the macro goal? And that's exactly what they helped me analyze on a business perspective. And then I implement that in my personal life, and I operate that way. And it has really absolutely changed my life. It has changed not only my career, but my perspective in life. I used to live in fear of my past. I wanted to break the cycle so deeply, so badly. I never wanted to, my dad, you mentioned addiction at the beginning. My dad was a drug addict and an alcoholic. And so we lived through really, really scary things. Right. And I never wanted to live that life again, right? So I was always living in fear of my past. And at this stage, while doing my MBA and having real mentors for the first time in my life, I was so hyper-focused in my future that I did not really know how to live in my present. And so I'm finally at a place in life, 7 years later, where I can visualize, here's where I want to go. And I have a trajectory and a path on how to achieve it without it consuming me to an extent that I can't live and enjoy and thrive in my present. And so that is, I think, an evolvement that I've been able to do, but that has come with trial and error and adversity and, very difficult times. It's not pretty. I'm not trying to say things are perfect, but I'm saying that I've learned. And I hope that we can all realize that we are so powerful when we really take a step back and analyze who we are, where we want to be, and how to get there, and help each other along the way.
Right. Dan, guys, I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. I just think this is so powerful because, guys, recognize that people go through stuff. You get kind of the cards that you're just dealt in life. And if you can really look at it and say, I know that I don't want this, and I know that I want something over here, you can just get over there. I mean, I don't think Diane knew from the beginning that where she wanted to end up, but she knew where she didn't want to be. So she got in other areas and tried things out. And she found things that she naturally was gifted at. She loves the analysis, and she's really good at it. And then she applies those skills to her own life, which I think is something we all need to look at. But the thing is, it's like she starts off with a really rough situation, and look at where she is now. People would look at her life and say, that's crazy. I don't know how she did that. Guys, she showed up. She worked hard. She put in the work. And when she got even another hand that was unexpected, her whole world gets thrown upside down with a divorce. And now she's got 4 kids, and she's like, it's sink or swim, And of course, that mother instinct that is so powerful kicks in, where you're going to swim and you're going to carry a mountain on top of you if you have to. And it's amazing. And she jumps in, and look, and now she's not just carrying the mountain of her kids. She picks up another one and goes, I want to help everyone else. I want to help immigrants. I want to help mothers. I want to help people re-enter the workforce because it's an amazing thing. And anyway, I just think your story is so inspirational. I think it's so great because you chose every day, and it's like, and it wasn't easy, but the fact that you made that one switch, and I think it's so powerful, is from being a victim and blaming other people or your circumstances, and instead decided, no, I'm going to take responsibility for how my day goes. I'm going to take accountability for how it doesn't go. And I get to make this choice. And guys, it is so empowering. Once you actually take responsibility for it, that hope suddenly comes back in. And then you start taking steps, and then that hope grows. And it's so amazing. And it's so empowering because you get to that point where you ask for the help. Or more likely, once you make that self shift, the universe or God or whatever you believe in, he sends the help because he knows you're there now. But he lets you choose first on your own level. And that's huge. That's so big. Dan, I want to ask you 2 more questions really quick before we wrap this up. Number 1, I think everybody in their life is learning a really big lesson. Typically, we're always learning one big one. And if not, we have learned a really big one. What's a big lesson that you're learning right now?
Oh, I would say to be a better listener.
Huge.
I have 2 adult kids that are in college, and I have 2 teenagers that are in high school. And just learning, everyone is so unique. They're all so different.
So different.
And their love languages are different. So I'm constantly focused on improving my communication and being a better listener, because that in return helps me show more empathy and understand and just connect better.
Now, when you say being a better listener, is it just intentional listening, or is it putting yourself in their shoes? What does that mean to you?
It's being an intentional listener, right? So sometimes we talk and we misinterpret what we're saying, or we take what the other person is saying, interpret it completely different, right? So for me, I have taken a step back, especially my kids. They are such good teachers. They challenge me and teach me every day. Wow. And that includes just listening, being intentional so that I understand what they're saying. And then in return, I can relate my message, which, as a parent, as a single parent specifically, you have to be the administrator and the nurturer, the enforcer, the teacher. It's a very hard role, and it's a very delicate balance as well. And so I want to be an intentional listener so that I can understand and help and empower, and also show empathy and connect where we can relate, even though we have different perspectives.
Totally. Huge. My goodness, guys. Listen to that again, and then one more time, and then we'll just wrap it up. But Diane, last question I want to ask you. If everybody in the world was going to see this episode, everybody was going to see it, what would you want to tell them?
Oh, you are powerful. You are enough. You are in control. You can achieve anything you want. And success looks different for everybody. Yeah. Whatever brings you joy, that's success.
That is so beautiful. I love that so much. Guys, Diane is available on LinkedIn. Please connect with her. We'll have a link below where you can connect with her. Diane, this has been seriously such an amazing podcast. I am so glad we got you on. We're going to have you on another time, and because we just have to get to know you better.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful we have people like you that are doing so many great things to help so many people who have so much potential to actually realize that potential and have amazing lives.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
I love what you're doing. Thank you for sharing other stories. It's powerful. Thank you.
Okay. Have a great day. Thank you.